Hello and welcome back to Real Wizardry, where we make your life more magical. My name's Neil, I'm going to be your magical host, and in today's video we're talking about magic and how to do real magic. If you've seen my previous video, which is linked up here, you'll probably have quite a few questions because a lot of people do. And so I thought I'd update that one with a more recent video, because the last one was several years ago. It's still getting really decent traction and loads of views, but lots of questions as well. So I thought I'd go through some of those questions with you right now, and hopefully it will clear up how to manifest, how to make stuff, how to use magic in a constructive way to create things in your own life. Okay, so let's start off with the most common question that I get asked. Where do you find a magic wand? Well, this one is a Harry Potter replica magic wand. This one's actually Sirius Black's magic wand from the Harry Potter series. But it will work perfectly well, you know, for a real magic wand. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but basically, creating magic is all about intent, and it's about putting across your own intent and your own feeling, your own emotion out into the world. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you could get a custom-made magic wand like this one, which is just, again, wood, but it's all been turned and made to my specifications. There are also other types of magic wand too, and that uses crystals and herbs, and you could pretty much adorn it with anything. I like to also use my finger, which is a good way to direct your own intent. Now, sometimes you're going to want a wand, other times you're not, and it depends on how you want to cast your spells. Casting spells is not that difficult, so if you want to know how to do it, have a look at this video up here. It explains everything. Next thing is about love spells and whether or not you should do it or shouldn't do it. If you have a look out there, you would find 1,000,001 different reasons why you should or should not do love spells, what you should and should not do. This is my opinion based on what I think. I don't necessarily have a problem with love spells, but I do have a problem interfering with free will. You can't do that anyway because everyone has their own free will, and so it would be unwise to try. So what I would say is, yes, by all means do a love attraction spell where you're attracting love to you, but you don't necessarily want to go doing that for a specific individual. If you're in a relationship that isn't working, get rid of that relationship or work on it, but don't use magic. That's not the place for it. If you want to get a new relationship that matches all of your criteria and you don't necessarily mind or care who that person is, then I would go for a love spell, because that will attract the love energies to you. It will change your own vibrational energy, and it'll put you out into the universe in such a way that you will become attractive to other people. You're not trying to interfere with anyone's individual free will. You're just making yourself open to the possibility of love. So that's the second thing. If you want love, by all means do a love attraction spell, but don't specify who. A lot of people ask me about herbs and whether you should grow things in a special herby garden or a magical way. Now, certainly you can infuse water with moonlight and all of that sort of stuff, but nature is a very magical thing anyway, and so adding moon water to it seems like a bit of overkill to me. By all means do it if you've got the time and energy, but I like to be a bit more practical with my witchcraft. There are loads of different things out there that can teach you how to use herbs, like books and encyclopedia and things like that. I've also got a poster myself. Link is down in the description if you want this poster. The big one is how to fly. And I did say this at the end of my previous video. A lot of things that are now commonplace started as a vision in someone's head, and only compromises being made along the way were things that would allow it to comply with the laws of physics. Now, if you just want to float off the ground using magic, that's not going to happen. If you want to alter your consciousness to do it, that could be done. So let's talk about that. Astral projection is where your consciousness or your mind, your astral body, leaves your physical body and goes somewhere else. Now, if you think this sounds really ethereal or weird, I don't blame you. But the US government did a lot of experiments on this, and they even filed a patent on how to walk through walls and all of that sort of stuff. I'll get into that in a different video. In fact, I've done a different video and I'll link it down below. I do think that it's a really interesting idea that you can separate your physical and your astral bodies from one another and then just go wandering around. It's called witch flying, and it's the origins of brooms. And again, I've done a video on this already. Honestly, I don't know why people don't look around this channel a bit more often and find them, but I've put the link down in the description. People ask me about elemental magic, fire, water, air, earth. They don't really specify what they want to do with that. So if you're going to put a comment on any of these videos, please do be specific. Fire magic is fine. You can light candles and stuff like that, but if you want to blast fire out of your hands, again, that's something from the movies that isn't actually possible in real life. And so you do need a bit of a reality check when you're asking these sorts of questions, perhaps. But if you want to use fire magic, that's perfectly plausible and that's perfectly okay. You can use the energy of fire. You can use herbs like chili or pepper, something that will add a bit of fire energy into your spell. That's okay. But I don't necessarily know whether that's what people are asking when they're talking to me on my channel. When people talk about water magic, what exactly do they mean by that? Is it the energy of water? Or are they talking about like Dumbledore in the Ministry of Magic, kind of wand waving and creating this pool of water to engulf Voldemort? I'm not sure. I imagine it's probably the latter, in which case, again, not really possible. One exciting element of magic I'm really excited about, though, is the idea of interdimensionality and different things, different laws of physics being possible in different dimensions, and potentially infinite dimensions, allowing infinite laws of physics, allowing the possibility for magic to exist, and also the cross-dimensionality, allowing other dimensions into our dimension. So does that mean that magic and fairies and all of that sort of stuff could be possible in a different dimension and cross over into this one? Yes, theoretically. Is that too much of a leap? Probably. And will that get too many people excited on this channel and asking some really odd questions? Almost definitely. Now, I've had a lot of comments and I've also said where some of these things aren't possible. That doesn't mean that I want to ridicule you, and I don't want anyone to take offense at what I've said. All I'm trying to do is to clarify the questions that have been asked of me. And I'm hoping by doing that I will encourage more questions. I want more questions rather than fewer questions. So if this has come across as critical in any way, I don't mean it to do that. I just want to answer the questions that you guys have asked, and I want to be able to answer them in an honest, open, truthful way. So hopefully that will encourage more comments from you so that we can have a decent conversation in the future. If you found any of this useful, please do click that like button, subscribe, ding that bell, and I'll see you again next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
stay magical.